Welcome, fight fans, to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast. Your Fight Talk Authority. Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo. Streaming live and worldwide. Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Production Studios, the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. 2020, our first show for the Kick-Ass Podcast. I got my man, my one and only, the co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, the Apache Kid, Cole Escovedo. What's happening, Cole?
What's going on, amigo? How was your
break? Happy New Year, man.
I know, Happy New Year. How was your break? We kind of had like a Christmas break kind of thing.
We did. We had like a little break.
And then both of our jobs, I think, have Christmas break anyway.
I know. Really?
So it's like free money. It's awesome.
Why? I mean, nothing's really free.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
if you look at your check, they take a lot out.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Well, see, it's always good to know some people, and we happen to know a candidate who's running for mayor, so maybe he can kind of help us out in money management and just doing the right thing, man. First of all, I know he's going to help us out with the show. That's what I've been hearing. I mean, because this guy right here, if he's elected mayor of Fresno, he wants to help fund some of the parks, put money back into the parks. And you think about the parks, you think about the youth, you think about the kids, and even adults. Hell, I like to barbecue. You like to barbecue, right, Cole?
Yeah, a barbecue is nice, especially when you don't have to worry about, like, where you're barbecuing.
This guy's only 35 years old, man. I mean, his wife walked him in here, and I could already tell who's the leader of the pack. And I know why he is so hard-nosed and wanting to make a difference in Fresno, California. I can go on and on. I can read the man's resume, man, but I'm going to let him discuss it with both us, the viewers, the fans. Ladies and gentlemen, possibly your future mayor of Fresno, California, the one, the only, the Muay Thai man himself, Mr. Andrew Janz. Welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Dude, I knew he would find a way to fit that in there somewhere.
We got to.
Dude, that's why I tell him. You tell him little tidbits, and it'll come up later.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, no, man. Trust me. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing, man. It is a good thing. Well, welcome to the show,
Hey,
man.
this is exciting. Thanks for having me.
No, and
great.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw you, you're a lot taller than what I thought.
Oh, good.
Which is good. Yeah, because when I saw the picture, it was kind of compact a little bit right there, man.
A lot of
or
people
maybe
say
the
that.
podium was too high.
Yeah.
Speaking of podium, and like in boxing or MMA,
Mm-hmm.
they have what you call a face-off. They got Conor McGregor facing off against Mayweather, and there's a whole promotions. A lot of money goes out there to promote the fight,
Right.
promote the deal, promote the two combatants going at it.
Yeah.
But the political combatants, my man, because 3 weeks ago we had also another candidate, Jerry Dyer, former chief of Fresno, and wouldn't it be awesome, Cole, to have a face-off, man?
Hey,
Which
like I said,
missed yesterday.
we got the arm wrestling.
We
thing.
do.
We do. I've got that. I can set that up.
But you know what? Let's make. You know what? It's going to benefit Fresno. It's going to benefit the fans. But let it benefit us. Let's have a cook-off, man, so we get something out of it. What do you say, Andrew? Do you cook pretty good?
I'm down.
Have a chili cook-off.
I was telling you guys earlier that my mom's Thai, so she taught me everything that she knows, so I can do a pretty good Thai barbecue.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
I like that. That's not a
Yeah.
bad idea, actually.
So tell us a little bit about you. Is your mom here in Fresno, or where's your mom reside at? You don't mind me asking?
No,
your family.
it's totally fine. So my parents were both immigrants to the U.S. My dad came earlier when he was younger from Canada. My mom is from Thailand. They met when my dad was stationed in the Peace Corps in Southeast Asia. They moved here, had me. Basically grew up here in the Central Valley, lived here all my life, apart from some of the years I was in school doing that sort of thing. My dad, we lost him back in 2012 to a heart attack. Tough time for our family, but we're still going strong. My mom, she lives between me, my brother, and my parents had some property in Thailand, so she's there out in Thailand right now. But she'll be back. My wife and I are about to have our first kid.
Congratulations.
In the next couple of weeks. So she's gonna be out here for that. So she'll be living with us for a little bit. So we're pretty excited about it.
There you are.
So how do you go? How does Dad go from Canada to Southeast Asia to Fresno? Did he get stationed or something?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. So my grandparents were immigrants out of Nazi occupied Europe during World War II. So after the war, they left to go to Canada just to basically start over, start a new life. And
what part of Canada? I'm just curious.
It's the far north of Saskatchewan province, Uranium City. I don't even think it exists anymore. It was an old uranium mine. They mined uranium there, used it to make nuclear weapons and other things like that. And so my grandfather worked in the mines. I think that they had one too many cold winters. I mean, it got really cold up there. Man. So they decided to up and move to Southern California, where it was a little bit warmer. My dad was like 5, 6 years old, something like that. And so, he first in our family to go to college, that sort of thing. And after college, he wanted to go into the Peace Corps. He was a big believer in spreading sort of the message of American values overseas. Yep. And so he worked in a hospital in a Thai village where he met my mom, who was also working at that hospital.
You know what? Right off the bat, when you mentioned your dad, and I know it was personal, I can just tell that connection was there. Yeah. I mean, and the values, what you're talking about right now with your dad and how he laid out the foundation, you're following the same values. I'm just letting you know, that's just what I felt right off the bat.
I appreciate that. You guys would have liked my dad. He was a cool dude.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's proud right now, saying, that's what I'm talking about. And let him know about this story. Tell him about that story.
Yeah.
Right, Cole? I mean, you know the values of parenting and stuff. And
it's a character trait. You got to pass that down. It's not like you can't just have, like, it's not genetic. Like,
no.
Either you're athletically gifted because both your parents were athletically gifted. You're short because both your parents were short.
Well, you're like me. You embrace it.
You know?
You embrace it.
Well, yeah, you have to. You have to embrace it, or it goes one in ear out the other. It's not retained knowledge.
Hey, did you like that text I sent you today about the cat?
Whoa, the cat. Oh, yeah, dude.
That was cool, man.
I've got this thing about cats. I don't know why. Like, I like all animals, but you ask anybody who knows me, they're like, does Cole like cats? And they'll be like, yeah, 100%. Fuck yeah. Why, does he have a cat with him right now?
Yeah.
Because, like, would you have some cat story that happened? What happened? So it's a thing with cats, I don't know why. Like, I have people will send me stuff on Facebook all the time. They'll tag me, be like, dude, did you see this? And
that's
like,
cool. I just sent it to KP.
Eight to nine times out of 10, I'll be like, dude, that's so cool. But yeah,
well, you can't see it now, man. We got to see it on the screen.
And I'll be like, yeah, but I've already seen it. And they'll go, oh, and I go, no, it's okay though. It's just,
I love cats.
Cats, I don't know. It's something about the fact that a cat has more, and they don't have necessarily more personality than a dog or any other animal, but they're more subjective to whether or not they're going to give you their attention.
Yes, exactly.
You have to have some kind of a bond with them.
That's why they invented Catitude, right?
Yeah, I guess Catitude, yeah. That was a horrible movie, by the way. Did you see Cats? Did you see any of that, dude?
I want to see it, but I'd rather see something like live, not like opera, but like go to Wilson Theater, the old Wilson Theater, or one of the theaters we have here and just see like a live play. That would be cool. I got to ask you, do you love pets?
I got two two little.
There you go. Check that out, man.
There you go.
Yeah. All the time, dude. All day. No matter how many times I fed them, it's like I can see the bottom of the bowl.
Right?
Feed me. It's like, dude, I fed you already. Feed me. That's all it is. Every day, dude. Every day.
Training you, not the other way around, right?
Pretty much. Well, I'm on like a timer. If I don't wake up and feed them at a certain time in the morning,
I'll get to the door.
I get headbutts to the face.
Oh, there you go.
And then if that doesn't work, I get a stretch out arm. And it just drags into whatever it lands on and just sticks. And then that's your like, get up, let's go, food time.
Exactly.
So,
it's persistent.
But I like, but like I said, I live in an apartment though. If I had a house, I'd have dogs. I'd have like 2 or 3 dogs, easy. My mom has horses on a ranch. She's got dogs. She got a goat.
You're an animal lover, man.
Yeah, I like animals. I'm just restricted by the confines of my living
situation. So you're an animal lover, and my man right here, he's a people lover. He's a lover of people, and he's a lover of wanting to make a difference in Fresno, California.
What do they call that? Philanthropist, right?
That's what he is.
Yeah.
Well, look at the position he's running for.
Would you go by that label?
You got to love people. You got to love to make a difference, right?
You have to.
Have to have a heart for people.
You definitely have to. So when was the first time you actually got into politics? Like, what was like, how some kids wake up one day and they're like, you know what? I'm going to be an astronaut. Okay, what do I got to do? I got to go to like the Navy or the Air Force or whatever. Then I have to apply. I have to meet this. What started that spark? Like, were you doing mock trial one day in high school or?
Well, it goes back to my dad again. When I was little, when he would go to vote, he'd take me with him, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so,
nice.
So when I turned 18 in that first election that year, we went together to go do that, which was really cool. So that's kind of, how I started when I was little. When I was in college, totally random. Like I kind of, I paid attention and stuff like that, but I didn't, run for anything like that or anything. But some dumb thing happened. I lived in the dorms, and they built a new dorm. I lived in the new dorms, and this was back in, I want to say 2006, something like that. They built it, and there was no internet access. how do you study
Yeah, how do you
without
go to
internet?
college, yeah.
And so like we were paying for it out of our paychecks. And long story short, I organized all these people to do protests and signing these petitions and things like that. They refunded all of our money, and they were able to, speed up the fixing process of the internet. And that was like really my first start. And I was like, man, we organize, we get people together.
Got that first taste of
That difference maker.
political
and
power.
Here's the
movement.
crazy thing. The thing that I learned the most out of that was because then we called all the newspapers, the TV stations and stuff, and they came out and they covered it. And it was like this, PR disaster for the school. And so like I learned the power of media and how it influences politics at a pretty young age. And that was probably my first real start.
My man got a bachelor's degree in economics, a master's in public administration, in law degree, / manager for The Fighter's Voice, kick-ass podcast. I mean, if you're reaching out to people, making things happen, my man, you came to the right place.
So I heard law degree in that, articulable, long, vast list there. So was law something that you added to it after you started to dive into politics, or were you planning a different direction at one point instead?
So when I got my master's degree, it was 2009. And if you remember, that was pretty much when the recession was like in full effect. People weren't hiring people at the time. So my master's degree was in public administration, and so basically my specialty was managing a small local government, like a city.
Yeah.
So that's what my background is in. And at the time, governments were cutting jobs and they weren't hiring people. And I said, you know what? I think that if I got the law degree, I think I'd be a lot more valuable as a government employee. And so that's what I did. Went to law school. Somehow I took a trial advocacy class, and then I knew that I wanted to be a trial attorney. It was just something that kind of happened. I sort of had a natural yearning and presence to be in the courtroom, which led me ultimately to become a deputy DA here in Fresno County.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, it usually leads you one direction or the other when it comes to law. People either go into the defenders or the prosecutor side based on one real specific decision. And sometimes it's money, sometimes it's purpose. You know what I mean? Like there's two directions you go. Most people that go defender are
There's
like,
always
dude,
two
money.
directions.
Yeah, but
Good,
money usually
evil,
ends up being that
right,
catalyst.
wrong,
Yeah, that's
cold,
true.
hot, day, night.
Yeah. Well, those aren't really directions. Those are just
Beautiful,
opposites of the same
not.
coin, though. Those aren't
Right.
really directions. Like,
Well, I know. The
an eclipse would
choices.
be a direction. That's
yeah.
that's day and night without choice. Day and night are going to
It
come
is
no matter
it
what.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, you got to be able to adapt.
So you did the law degree to strengthen your resume to leading towards political use, as far as not political use, but more of like to get yourself better chances in that industry.
Yeah, and to serve the public, to give myself the tools to be able to do it. And I clerked for a judge right after law school, clerked in Vegas, which was a really cool time. But after that, my wife and I, we're both from the Valley. We're like, let's get back home. Let's get back to our roots. And so we came back here. Been working at the DA's office since 2014, and I'm currently serving on the violent crimes unit, which is really it's a really tough assignment. We see all the crazy stuff. So like the stabbings, the shootings, gang stuff. We get all the violent cases, like the really bad dudes. So that's what my focus is on, and I love it. I love doing it. There's nothing more rewarding than going out there and getting results for people who are victims of these terrible crimes. And just to be able to look at them in the eye and their families and say, hey, we got you justice. That's just
Or even
just so
closure,
rewarding.
just giving
Closure.
them, giving them just that piece of closure. Like the
Absolutely.
result might not be,
Right.
hey, the guy's going to prison for life or whatever. Like we got him, he didn't get away, or whatever the result was.
That's a powerful platform because there's a lot of people that feel the same way that you do that want to help and they can't. There's nothing they can do to help. I mean, they feel bad, they take it home with them, they learn their stories or they're part of the victim or part of the family and they don't have the platform to give back. You have the platform to give back and you talked about it being rewarding. What part of Fresno would you attack first? When I say attack, it's just like, I can't wait to dive into this because let's fix this a little bit and let's spread the proceeds, the love, the needs. Where do you want to dive into first? What does Fresno need that can be addressed and fixed by you and your team?
Honestly, I can tell you that the focus for me has to be south of Shaw. The statistics for Fresno are terrible. We rank 59 out of 59 for racial inequality for large cities in the state of California. We're the richest state in the entire nation. We are sometimes the fifth largest economy in the world. And we rank near the bottom as Fresno, and so we need to do better. And if you look at just by racial breakdowns, if you're African American, you know, a median income for a family is around $24,000 a year. You know, you go north of Shaw, you go to, you know, past Herndon, you know, average income for white families around $65,000, $70,000 a year. And so I don't like having a system set up where you're destined for failure just based on the color of your skin and where you live in our community. And so we need to do better. And so I want to make sure that we as a community, we as a local government invest more money and more resources in Southeast and Southwest Fresno. We do that, we begin to see, I think, positive results in terms of reducing crime, reducing poverty, reducing homelessness. We can fix so much more if we just invest just a little bit. So that's going to be my focus. You know, I'm taking a lot of heat for it because it's kind of like, well, why are you only focusing on one side of town? You know, I feel, you know, that you know, north of Shaw, you know, they've had their shot, doing pretty well up north. You know, I think that we need to do a better job of uniting as a community, and we do that by addressing the areas that have the most need.
Well, when they tell you why are you only addressing one part of the town, it's just like a coach. It's just like a team. I mean, the Lakers, they need a shooting guard, man. I mean, you know, so they're going to go after a guard. They're going to draft a guard. The Dallas Cowboys, we need a safety. So we're not going to draft a quarterback or a running back or offensive line. We're going to draft where it's needed, and our first pick should be a safety. Yeah. So you're addressing on what's most needed, and a lot of people, if they don't think that it's needed, well, then possibly shame on them for overlooking it or being part of the system that says, oh, everything's okay. Well, and I'm glad we finally got somebody with some balls to step up and say, you know what, I want to go here. I want to talk about what nobody wants to talk about or what nobody wants to address. I'm going to go on the line and put it on the line and say, I want to fix this.
Yeah, and there's an easy approach to that too. Like the ones that say, hey, why are you focusing so much on that? It's like, look, there are people north of Shaw that are making $24,000, $25,000 and less, like $15,000 a year. Trust me, I know I'm one of them. But the point I'm trying to make is that you have those people that are living in that 55, 65 bracket, and they say, oh, why are you focusing on this part of town? Go fucking live there for a year, and you'll understand why I'm focusing on this part of town. Plus, you also have a larger population and a larger diversity of population. You get a larger population back on its feet versus just one person. You're now sustaining an economy that will grow on itself. That's why I've always told people, like,
that's perfect.
Walmart's, for example, the automated system stuff. It's like, yeah, I know you're saving money overall, but if you think about this, the money you're saving with those automated self-checkout lines that you're not paying employees, how much economy into the local economy are you losing by not paying those employees? Where an employee worth $15,000 a year, you're no longer paying. That's $15,000 a year that's no longer floating around that local economy. So
100%.
Same concept. Have them experience 100%. It, because in the long run, getting that whole section of town on its feet will get Fresno overall on its feet, because then it starts to thrive all over.
I'm going to say something. They may sound corny as hell, but have you ever heard of the word of the day? You might have missed the word of the day just with public communication. They might have said something to make an impact in your life, or they might have just watching another person, the human being, connect with another human being. Man, later with those machines, man. I mean, are we in a hurry to do so many things where we're robbing ourselves the opportunity to perform? I mean, somebody on a register from there, given that opportunity, can sometime possibly manager and may possibly have their own store or make an impact on one's life.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Small picture. Like when people say, why are you only focusing on it? Because their selfness is kicking in of, well, why aren't you helping our side of town? Well, dude, your side of town's fine. Let me get these guys on their feet first. Let me teach them the fish, and then we'll work on the rest of the village.
There
you know what
are.
I mean? Like,
and it helps everybody. It helps everybody. That economic driving force is just huge. You have to grow the economy from the bottom up. It's the best way to do it.
With minimum wage going up alone, you got companies that are like, oh, and I get it. Like, I know a company who their bottom line for pay went up $350,000 on the start of a new year with the pay raise, and I get it. But here's the thing: the more we pay the minimum wage, it's not a balance. It's the balancing out isn't working. It's we'll pay you more, but now milk costs more, rent costs more. Like, and I always say this: I go, dude, if
San Jose,
if companies as a whole would just bite the bullet for like 3 fiscal quarters. 3 quarters, just eat the bullet for a while. Don't raise prices. Leave it as it is.
Greed,
Let the extra money that's being, but then the balance is they go, okay, cool. Well, where are we going to come up with that money to pay those employees the increased wages and still keep the money? Cool. Just take less home. Like, just have less take home for like a year.
Here's
man.
the thing, Cole. Did that machine say, "Hey, Mr. Escovedo,
Yeah.
how you doing today, sir? Hey, thanks for shopping here." Did that machine
Exactly.
say anything like that? Did that machine greet you, make you smile when somebody cut you off along the way, change your mood, so to speak? So now you're not out there smashing to get from A to B and just being a butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why casino dealers will always have a job.
Exactly.
The machine can do the job, but it can't say, "Hey, Rich, heard so-and-so's anniversary or whatever, or hey, how's your kid, or how's so-and-so?" Man, you don't see him for 2 weeks. You know why? When they come back, like, "Hey, how was Christmas break with your kids? You guys do anything?" That's the kind of thing machines can't do. That's what gets you to come back. It's just customer service as a nutshell. So, I don't know. I rant, but it's whatever.
You got a vice president with you now, man. I mean,
was
he's
just-
ready
I
to
was just saying
go.
that.
My gosh.
Chief of staff or
I'm
something.
Passionate person.
Chief
he
economic
is.
advisor.
He is, man. That's why he's in the right place. The coast with the most. The UFC veteran himself, Cole Escovedo.
So what made you decide we're going to do mayor? Like, what, did you wake up one morning, had you been thinking about it, and finally just something happened, and you're like, you know what, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done with this picture. I'm going to do something.
You know, if you were following me last year in the last election cycle, I ran for Congress. It was one of the more watched House races in the country. And after that race, I traveled all over the country, all up and down the Central Valley. At the end of that, it was about a year and a half worth of campaigning. I was honestly like dead tired. I was done. I told my wife, "Hey, I'm not doing this again. This sucks." And I basically threw in the hat. And you know, there's a bunch of people running right now for that seat, and sort of let them, you know, get a head start on that and do what they need to do. And I remember it was about March or April of 2019. I was at work doing one of my cases, and I remember it was a gun case, and it was a young kid from Southeast Fresno, got involved in, you know, some really bad situations. He actually had a pretty good family, and he just, you know, hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing stupid stuff.
Choices, like, remember we were talking about that, choices.
Yeah.
Not
So-
always environment, it's
No.
choices.
Yep.
And it sucks. And then so I'm prosecuting him because it's my job, right? And when you have these crimes, right, I always say that there's two victims. The victim of the crime itself, like, you know, the person had the gun put in their face, and there's the defendant's family. So this kid's mom, this kid that's about to go to prison, his mom comes to court with the family, and she's up there, she's crying, she's telling the judge, "Hey, don't send my kid away." You know, those of us that work in the criminal justice system for a lot of this, especially if it's a gun crime, our hands are tied. Can't do anything. You know, the law says you got to go to mandatory 10-year sentence, mandatory 20-year sentence for, you know, depending on what you do. This kid's going away to prison probably close to 20 years, and his mom's up there crying. It's a terrible thing to watch. Terrible situation. You know, nobody was hurt, nothing like that, but he still used a gun. And I'm like, man, this sucks. So hard to watch. So I go back. I'm walking back to my office. Get back to my office. Boom! I get there, sitting on my desk, the exact same case. Another kid from Southeast Fresno did almost the exact same scenario. And I'm like, you know, what are we really doing here? You know, I'm sending these people off to prison.
Just watching the door spin.
Yeah, it's a revolving cycle. So I'm like, you know what? I just can't keep sending people to prison without trying to really work to address the underlying issues that create these situations in the first place, which I think lack of opportunity, lack of hope, you know,
Choices.
not giving, choices.
Last of even choices, like, I got to work here, I need a job, I have no chance anywhere else.
So I think that, you know, from the mayor's office, we can begin to fix a lot of these things, giving these kids hope. But we need a strong moral leader in the mayor's office to sort of be a role model and example. And you know, I mean, I come from a simple background. You know, my parents were never well off. I consider myself a working, coming from a working class family. So I think that I can connect with a lot of these folks, and I think my priorities are straight in terms of where I want to put our resources in the community. So so that was sort of the conversation that I had with my wife. I said, hey, I'm not going to be on the sidelines anymore. So I just said, hey,
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, put me in.
I've seen enough I at least need to try to put myself in a position to make a change. Because otherwise I can come up with ideas all day. Roosevelt
It's
said
so
it better,
easy
right?
to go with the flow, but it takes a leader to
Exactly.
step out and says, you know what, hell with it. I don't like the direction it's going, and I'm going to make a difference if I got to go against the grain and lose some friends or pretend friends.
Well, here's the other thing, and you know, this might not, you know, I might not win this race, right? I might win this race. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that my voice was added to the conversation, because I think that I have something to add to the community discussion on where we should go as a city. And so just the situation that we were in, I think, was leading towards having just, you know, the incumbent running unopposed. That looked like what the situation was. I threw my hat in. A bunch of other people started throwing their hats in, and so I think it's really healthy for our democracy, especially here at the local level, to have so many, points of view and having that discussion.
And you might hear an idea, like let's say you take the seat, you might hear an idea from another candidate and be like, I really liked what they were trying to do.
Right.
Hey, come work with me and let's try to make that happen. So like, I want what you're trying to do to still happen because that's going to benefit. I like that. So then that could be vice versa. They may hear something you say about the economy south of Shaw, and they may be like, hey, Andrew, do me a favor, man. I won, but I like what you were trying to do with that. How do we get that going? What was your plan going forward? So it's like a win-win, really.
I hope
you know what I mean? And that's and that's all you can do. That's all you can hope for, is to try to get your voice out there and make sure that it's at least heard. Because if it's not heard, you're just kind of going, man, well, that's still
you may motivate the best man.
Exactly.
And
that's what it takes.
I think all the candidates are motivated. I want to ask you a deep question, man. And I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to put a little spin on it. I'm going to name, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hall of Fame boxer. In his career, he had his fights with Roberto Duran. He had his super fight with Marvin Hagler. And he had his fights with Tommy Hearns. Without having Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, and Roberto Duran, he'd just be another fighter, that didn't get a chance to be great. So in this race, who's your Roberto Duran? Who's your Marvin Hagler? And who's your Tommy Hearns?
I think for the most part, I think Jerry and I are probably the main candidates. I haven't heard much about the other people.
So we got Tyson Holyfield in.
Yeah.
So that's what we have.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that Jerry and I had a debate last night, and again, I think that kind of conversation is very healthy.
How did that go?
I thought it went pretty well. I thought that he got his ideas out there. I got my ideas out there. I think come March 3rd, which is the election day, people are going to make a very simple choice, I think. Do they want change? Do they think that Fresno's heading in the right direction? Do they want something new? Do they want something fresh? Or do they think that, Fresno's on the right track? Let's leave things as they are. And I think that Jerry sort of represents the status quo, and he's been in the system for so long, and he's been part of the decision making that has led us to where we are now as a community. And so if people are happy with what we have now, I think they're going to vote for him. But if people are not happy and they think that Fresno can be bigger and better, and I think more exciting, I think that they're going to vote for me in my campaign. I think that's what's going to happen.
Damn, that's pretty clear cut.
It's pretty simple.
I mean, there's real choices. The way I've always looked at Fresno is look at Table Mountain, look at Chachansey, look at casinos that are off the beaten path, they're like destination locations, so they have a lot of concerts, a lot of celebrity guests, comedians, things come out, things to draw you out there. I've always kind of seen Fresno as one of those towns that we're kind of really far away from any other real major hub. So we're kind of a destination city. That's why we're a test market city for a lot of food companies, chain records. So it's a place where it's like you got to have a reason to be coming there. Yeah. So in a sense, it does require kind of a change. If we ever want to expand as a city or survive as a city as a whole economically, first off, you do have to give people beyond the choice of just coming to Fresno to spend money as just because I went there for a baseball game or I went there for a concert or I went there for something at Save Mart like Combate. I live in Stockton, but I went there because it was Combate, which I know they had one in Stockton too, but you get where I'm going with that. But to leave it just a destination town where you come to do something and then you bounce, that's not a thriving economy. Well, not really roots, but no economical roots. There's no consistent flow of money. There's not a new person living in town now that's adding money to it. Even if they're a commuter, they live here and they commute. Well, they're going to spend their money here because this is where their Target, their Walmart, and their grocery stores are. So things in that nature, I can kind of see where regardless, it has to at one point. You can't have a destination city live not at the size we have.
Bring excitement and not fear.
Yeah, an existing site. Ooh, what would be really cool would be like a bigger sporting thing. That'd be kind of cool.
What would be really cool is whoever wins this election takes the fighter's voice and says, you know what, we got to take it to another level. Why is it here only? Let's take it global and national and make it the heart of Fresno.
Right?
How does that sound, my man?
It sounds great.
It does sound good. It always sounds good.
It always sounds good.
But
feels good.
So giving us your time today. Where, if let's say somebody wanted to go and learn more about your plans, learn more about what direction you want to take Fresno, how would they reach out? How would they find out that info? Even if it's just to contact your staff or go to whatever the Wikipedia pages are, somewhere to see what's Andrew Janz about. How do I support it? Where can I listen to him? Where can I understand?
I like to think that I'm probably one of the most accessible political candidates here in the Central Valley. You can reach me on any social media platform. Just look up Andrew Janz, Janz. You can find me pretty easily. I do pretty regular town halls. Just random people off the street can come up and ask me any question that they want. I mean, even if you don't like me, you can come and ask me a question. I don't care. I'm not afraid to answer tough questions. I think that's part of my job. Yeah. Yeah, you could reach out to me also in person. We have an office on Bullard and West, right next to the Dutch Bros. You can just walk in, come get a yard sign. You know, we're handing them out, asking for a little tiny donation if you have it. But yeah, I think that that your listeners should recognize that this is going to be one of the most pivotal, important elections for the city of Fresno in a very long time. We have, I think, a really big opportunity right now. We have a ton of candidates, a ton of city council members right now that are ready and willing to work with a mayor that is going to implement change and progress, and
whichever that direction might be.
Right, and it's about making Fresno bigger and better than what it is now, and I think that it's so important for people to get engaged, figure out where the candidates stand on the issues. It's just so important. And you guys heard the saying, all politics is local. It is so true. Like all of the things that impact you the most happen here at the local level. You know, people focus on president, whatever. But man, this race is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, because when you have a race that's dictating kind of like a future direction of your city you're going to live in, that's going to affect a lot of your day to day.
Yep. Schools, roads, bridges, parks, policing, you know, all of that. It's just so huge.
Cool. Well, Andrew, we appreciate you taking time.
Wait. I don't want to let him go just yet.
You want to let him go?
Andrew, I know you're watching the NFL, man. So who do you got? First of all, who's your football team, and who do you got in this playoffs?
Think about this answer carefully.
I mean, I've been pretty on the record about it. I've been a lifelong Niners fan, so we're going to win on Saturday, and I think that we're going to take this all the way. I think we'll probably face Baltimore. It'll be a repeat of 2012, I think.
Okay.
And we want revenge, so.
Hey, you got it all written out. It's all scripted out. Yeah. You got to get past Seattle. If Seattle advances, because either way they put on a classic game. Yeah. Two great games this year.
Pete Carroll's good. I was worried about New Orleans, so I was happy that they got beat by the Vikings. They had a terrible game, man.
Happens, man.
Vikings got good defense, man. But man, that was crazy.
It is crazy, and it was crazy. Now listen. I'm going to mention this name, and I want you to grasp this name. Okay. I mean, he's from Avenal, California. He's adopted Fresno now as his hometown, and we're talking about Jose Ramirez, who's possibly a future candidate for mayor once his boxing career is all said and done. I mean, he's a champion inside the ring and outside of the ring, man. And we had him on the show, and he's a class act. That's somebody you want to connect because he's a people person, just like you are.
Yep.
His voice reaches too. Like his voice has reached so far.
I think he's gotten a lot of people involved in politics and community discussions that wouldn't have been if he hadn't talked. So he's a big time leader here in the Central Valley. Big fan.
That's for sure.
He is, man. So listen, when he becomes mayor, we got to make sure we bring you call Dana White, bring UFC back here to save Mart Center. They only came one time, man, in balance. Cole, what's up with that?
You know, it's a numbers thing. It's always
we're talking to the right man about making numbers happen.
That's true, but more of a concept of they looked in and said, is this a venue that we made enough revenue that it's worth doing again? Did we spend too much? How close did we come to budget?
Yeah.
Did we go over? Things like that. But I think they've done that one. They had Koscheck for a while promoting that stuff as far as getting them here. I think they had a really good showing for that one. I think it's just a time thing. Like, when do we want to come back? You got to get, what's funny is Alex is always pushing for that too. You can get guys like Alex Perez that after his next win, he needs to be like, hey, Dana, how do we get another Fresno show? Give me another fight night. Let's do one at Fresno. It's good.
That's my people, my town.
Keeps their budget low too. Yeah. You only have to pay like maybe one main fight and then a co-main, and then the rest can be locals. Feed them well, get them paid, and you'll have a sellout.
That's it, man.
It's a recipe for success.
And promoting it. We're a pretty cheap media market too.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it promotes it. I mean, UFC promotes itself. You just have to say when and where, and they'll come watch it. Look at Combate's success. They get fans all the time.
Exactly. I don't want to let them go just yet, because earlier we were talking about some food and some homemade food, man. But we got to test the waters, man. I mean, next time bring some samples here. We'll test them right here, and we'll make it happen here. We're an eating podcast.
Yeah. You guys like pork belly?
Yeah.
It don't sound good, man, but I guess I'll try it.
Man, it's like good. It's like
is it
better than bacon?
Oh, really? Is it?
It's like the good bacon. I don't know how like there's bacon.
Oh, bacon's bomb.
But then it's like the good bacon. Like it's what was meant
Bro,
to be.
I can get bacon and just put all kinds of bacon inside a tortilla and just boom, I'm good. Let's make it happen, man.
Let's do it. I'm down.
I appreciate you stopping by. I mean,
thank you for having me.
Honestly, you are so down to earth. You know, I was thinking, should I wear a suit and a tie for this right here? Should I change who I am? And Cole said, no, hell no.
Dude, right? I feel like I was overdressed. I usually wear, I came from work. I was overdressed today, man. It's all there is to it.
I know. You should have read the text that he said, hey, after the podcast, we're just go hang out over here. And I was like, let's go, man. Let's go.
Where are we going?
Oh, there we are. There we are.
No, we
People
appreciate
person.
you giving us your time, man. We know you're going to be super busy, and you're probably always going to be asking the same kind of questions from everybody because everybody wants an answer. Everybody wants to get their answer and stuff. So we do appreciate you coming down, giving us your time, man, and your insight. We like to have insight without bugging you too much about specifics. Let the people know who you are a little bit, give them some background, know who you are, and a chance to say, here is why you should vote for me, you know? So, cool.
Thank you.
You got to remember, in all the podcasts around here, you got pretenders, contenders, and then you got the winners. Okay, and that's us, the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply, like you, knocking out the competition.
That's what's up.
That's us. That's what's up. I like that. Appreciate you coming here, man. I would walk you out and be rude, man, but you're still part of the show. They're going to see you walk out, so they get to see how tall you are. 6'5", right? 6'2", 6'1"?
6'5.5".
There you are. There you are.
Jeez.
I like that.
Wow. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it, man. Be safe.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, man. Be safe for that traffic out there.
That's got to be kind of like when you stand over people.
Yeah.
That gives you like a command presence, too. That's got to be just a natural advantage being a DA or being in politics in general, where you have to have like.
Bro, he was just so down to earth, man. He was a real person.
Yeah, no, he's really cool. But the last two guests have been really cool like that. Like, you know, very just come in, normal, relax, feel free to cover anything.
Man, that's going to
you
be a good
want.
one. I wish I would have watched the debate, because I saw some highlights of it at Jerry Dyer and Andrew Janz, man, and they were very professional. They had the suit on, the three-piece. They looked good. Dyer, his arms popping out, you know, all big and buff.
Yeah,
and my man right here standing up all trim, like a, you know, like Superman.
Tall and lean, yeah. No, it's really good. Like what he said is, once Dyer went, it looked like it was going to be one-sided, you know, just a one runner.
That was clear cut.
Yeah, and then just toss his hand.
I like that little hidden message. I like that, though. I was capitalizing like, ooh, he went there. I like that.
Sometimes you got to slide him in, man.
Hey, he did, and it was good. Speaking of slide him in, man, 2020. So what are your goals for 2020, Escovedo? I was watching a game show host today. Yeah. They couldn't even touch you, bro.
Man,
I was thinking about that today. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Game show
It's going to happen.
host
It's going to happen.
Would be like my dream job.
It's going to happen.
No, just
and they're going to watch it. They're going to go, oh, that's that fucker on the Fighter's Voice. After this, dude, go to this channel right here. Dude, he's everywhere.
Right? That would be, I mean, I'm to the point to where like I almost want to get my own game show. Like I'm going to have, I'm going to
create that.
Get somebody to like build me some podiums. Like if you want to do some woodwork, build me like 3 podiums about waist high, so that I can stick like a mic and some electronics in, so we can get some game show shit. We'll put some pads in there. Like we'll throw some like trivia game stuff up there.
We need to talk to KP, man. We got a freaking studio here in Fresno. Mad Production Studios making it happen.
Imagine like a bar or a restaurant with like a podium or something, and you have like, that's your pub crawl night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know pub crawl's fun as it is, but have like a pub crawl night.
But you got to dress in some kind of costume.
Yeah, no, they'll be
that
like,
makes it fun.
Every week we'll have like a different
Yeah, because you got to remember it's entertainment, man.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, I don't want to wear that. And you really don't want to be on the show.
Yeah,
because we're giving out some cool ass prizes.
Yeah, put this Gumby suit on, stupid.
There you go.
Put this carrot suit on. Yeah,
exactly.
Dress like Hitler. Go.
Yeah.
You know? Like, how bad do they want to be on the show? Be like, cool, you can be on the show, but we're going to dress you like Hitler.
I know, but you can see some guys kind of going against the grain. Like, for example, a guy dressed as Pinocchio, but like his junk grows. You know, when he tells lies. That'd be freaking cool, man. You know what I mean?
We give them points for like how long you play in character. Like you have to answer your question like the character would. Like it'll be based on crowd, things like that. Like you can.
There you are.
You could do some stuff.
Look at my man, just run with it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm telling. That's all you. I'm serious,
bro. Well, I'm looking for a second job, so if that's the one I get, I'd be more than happy to do that. I think it'd be fun. But
that's gonna happen.
We do have, speaking of like second jobs, Connor's looking for a second job. He thinks he's going to get that Khabib fight, dude. He's sure he is. I don't know Well, he's given the Cerrone fight, in my opinion, zero attention.
That is a dangerous fight. I started rethinking about the whole situation.
Yeah.
Cerrone's getting the red panty week, okay? The red panty fight. This is it. This is it. He's motivated since day one. He is not going to get stopped or tapped out by this guy. He's going to go out and you're going to have to just freaking take his last breath.
Yeah, no,
because Cowboy's going to let that's why he trained to get that phone call. He got that phone call, and you're going to let him come up to my weight? No. I'm going out with a bang.
Yeah. No.
Serious.
Objectively speaking, which I try to be as objective about it as possible, but objectively speaking, I saw Conor walking around at 170 right now, a little over 170. Like, it looks like he's carrying the weight better than when he fought Nate the first time at 170. So I have to take that into consideration. But at the same time, it's just like both his most recent losses were subs. I mean, he's been subbed before on the ground. He lost to Khabib. He lost to Nate. He's been subbed. So his ground game, I don't care. Your ground game's either good or it's not, or it's passable. You know what I mean? Like enough to keep you out of trouble.
Cowboy's a takedown away from winning the fight.
Exactly. So if it goes to
Can
the
you imagine
ground,
him getting hurt and just held it, taking him down, and then just boom?
Yeah, which I imagine, Conor's, if he has a strong hit base at 170, the sprawl will be there, but it's dangerous for him to go to the ground.
I don't know if he's going to hurt Cowboy at 170.
With the Gaethje fight, we've seen, the Nate fight, we've seen a lot of fights at 170 where it's just like, I don't think that guy will hurt him, and then he ends up just getting cracked. Does that mean Conor can't? No, of course not. Conor's a good fighter.
I'll stand corrected. I'm pulling for Conor, but realistically, I'm looking at Cowboy. He has too much on the line.
Yeah,
Conor's tasted it. He has the bank account. He knows what it looks like to hold all these hundreds and millions in his hands. Cowboy wants it. He has a family now and says, you know what, I'm at the end of my rope, so to speak. Get it, Cowboy?
Yeah.
He beats Conor. He has one more championship fight, moneymaker, and call it a day.
That's what I'm thinking, because I was looking at it, and from what I read, this isn't really like a big money fight for Cerrone. Like, it's not going to be what everybody else has gotten to enjoy. And that's a numbers thing. At one point, the UFC and ESPN Plus and everybody that actually pays up the money for that stuff looked at it and
wins.
said,
He's right back in the mix
and
of a giant payday.
Where the money jumps. Yeah, it's either one of those guys. Conor wins. His next day will be probably a pay-per-view, ESPN, main event, whatever. There's nothing you could do about it.
I'd rather have him call out Khabib than George.
Well, now,
that is crazy.
If he beats Cerrone and says, oh, I want you next, Khabib. Quit fucking running. Like, at that point, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, give him the fight. Whoop his fucking ass again. Like, give him the fight, make the money, get paid, whoop his fucking ass again. Like, at that point, there's no argument against it. But at the same time, doesn't Khabib still have to get past Ferguson?
Do you give him any chance at all with George?
Conor against George?
Yeah. For the bad motherfucker bout?
Well, I don't really think either of them really qualify for that belt first off.
Okay, well, now George is calling for it only because he wants that money, that big payday. And he wants to throw a three-piece on him.
From some of the stories I've heard about younger George before he became GSP and when he was back,
I'm not talking about GSP. I'm talking about the bad motherfucker winner who beat my man Nate.
Oh, Jorge?
Yes.
Against GSP?
Yes. But Conor's calling him George. like George. I want to hug him and squeeze him and do all that.
So you're thinking Conor and Masvidal is what you're talking about?
Because that's what he's calling
I think
out.
Masvidal would fuck him up.
Bad.
So, I mean, if I think Masvidal whoop his ass, I'm confident Cerrone whoop his ass too. But I think that Cerrone, I kind of have Cerrone here, and then I've got Masvidal just a notch over right now, and then I've got Conor below both of them, if that makes sense. Yeah. Even though I don't think Masvidal is necessarily a better fighter than Cerrone.
He'll welcome the exchange, though, as opposed
I
to
think he's
Cowboy giving him
dangerous.
angles.
Yeah, and I think that Cerrone's just going to put hands on him, but to see Conor fight Masvidal it'd be entertaining. I'd watch it just to watch Conor get fucked up. No, because I think that's a bad fight for him. I don't think that's a very good fight for him at all. Just because it's a different breed, man. I don't think he's gonna get past Cerrone. I don't think he'd have any fight with Salva. But if he asked for it, I'd give him up. If he beats Cerrone,
that's a week from this Saturday.
Yeah, that's a week from Saturday, the 18th. You got a couple people on that card actually. You know what I did here though before we get on that card was the Israel fight, and Romero was announced. Like, I think that's going to be on 248 or 247 or something like that. But they officially announced that.
What if Romero have like 1% body fat?
Dude,
that guy's a beast. Man.
I know him, but that's a dangerous fight. I mean, I don't think he'll beat Israel, but I think that's still a dangerous fight. You ever count out, Yoel Romero, you end up.
No, even when he's tuckered out or even hurt at times, he just seems to put on the gas and just let those hands go or find a way.
For his age,
not to survive, but to make a difference. Yeah, you know what? He kind of reminds me of, gosh darn it, what's my man who just kicked Father's Time in the ass? Couture.
Oh,
I mean, the second coming, because age doesn't mean anything now in the UFC. These guys are just getting motivated, out training these guys.
yeah. I mean, Couture is kind of he's kind of a special case though, Couture.
Went up to heavyweight too, man.
Because Couture had been doing that kind of stuff his entire life, Greco, collegiate. Like he had just been abusing his body at a certain level daily for a year. So to go as long as he did, as high level as he was, it blows a lot of people away. But I've always really looked at it and go, yeah, it's impressive. Don't get me fucking wrong, it's impressive. But I've looked at it and go, yeah, but from a combat sports staff, like he should be doing that. Like he's done it his whole life. His body is basically built for it. Like, yeah, into it as long as he can. Just like when people look at Brady, they're like, oh, well, dude's been playing football his entire life. Like that's all his body knows. And I know people are like, oh, he lost, but that's pointless. Dude's like 40 plus, still playing top tier football and doing well, being successful. So, but the same thing though, it's like, dude, you've done that your entire life. You're good, and you've been doing it your whole life. You should be still doing it at that age. Like, you should still be a step above everybody else.
He sent out a tweet today saying, you know what, I still love the game, and I still got a lot to prove. And I can see him playing 1 or 2 more years, at least 1 more, maybe 2.
Yeah, I could see him doing
successful.
1 maybe for sure, just to show that this year was just a bad year, and that if they won another ring, if they have the right team, but they just really didn't have all the right parts.
Okay, I'm going to talk
either.
about it just briefly because I still owe my man a steak. But, you know, I did say we would hook up. Honestly, that last, before he threw the interception, the last outing that he had the ball, I mean, 2 of his receivers dropped the ball for first downs. It could have changed the outcome. And there's a lot of ifs and whats and buts about it. But, you know, and I'm not a Brady fan, but, I mean, the man's good.
And that's what I'm saying is take your interest in the Patriots, put it aside real quick and just look at him as a quarterback. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the guy's a good quarterback. That's just all there is to it. So, but at that age, to be at that level,
I'm talking about these guys' longevity, man.
Shelf life is
real quick.
man.
You know who we got to get back on the show early, man, and I just can't wait to have him here because he is an MMA encyclopedia, and I'm talking about Richard Sherdog, man. We got to get him
Jeff
back on
Sherwood?
here. Yes, Jeff. Jeff.
That guy is an encyclopedia.
He is.
Like, he's a monster encyclopedia. He'll sit there and talk MMA for how much time do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and he goes, I was there
me.
when, you know, Dana bought that suit, and then
and he's got stories like that.
Exactly.
Like, I was there the day they did this. I
told the guy to text it. I told him, hey, you know, you better release this because this is what's going to happen. Boom.
Yeah.
And you're just there in awe, like, my gosh. We got to have him back.
It's what do you call those guys? Like gurus?
Yeah.
He'd be like a guru for MMA knowledge and experience, like outside of the ring.
He's one of those guys that comes in a building and motherfuckers just got to move out the way.
Oh, yeah.
All these guys that, okay, I'm on social media, I'm Mr. MMA. Dude, do you know who that is right there? That you just walked by and were rude to?
Right.
I mean, come on now.
The guy that's going to remember your name.
Yeah,
and he's going to make sure, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But
yeah, or think you know MMA and he'll crush you in 1 sentence.
Yeah.
That
like your knowledge.
Yeah.
Like what was that? I watched something. It was a SpongeBob facts, like the real SpongeBob. It was supposed to be like the official SpongeBob page. It was like the face you make when you realize you've never seen SpongeBob's backyard. And there was like a SpongeBob facts page that was like, well, actually, in episode blah blah blah, you clearly see his backyard. You need to get your shit together before you call yourself the official SpongeBob page. Like, it was bad. So the same thing. Like, you try to rattle off some MMA knowledge, and he would be like, well, actually, homeboy's girlfriend had just broke up with him that week. I've actually got pictures of him doing coke the day before the fight. So actually, that's why he lost that fight.
I wish there was like Twitter and like Instagram back in the day. I remember a boxing announcer. He said Vinny Pazienza dropped for the very first time in his career. Roberto Duran. No, Roger Mayweather dropped his ass.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can just go on and on.
Trust me, man. I don't care how valuable it would have been. None of us want Instagram or Facebook or MySpace back.
No, I know. We had the pager though.
Pager was the best.
You still remember your number? 660-7058. What was yours?
No, I don't, but I remember my number from when I grew up as a kid in the Ranchos, the house number for that. It was like 645-0196.
Mine was 673-1816, my first phone. You know, the phone?
Yeah. The rotary phones, the actual house phone with the fucking 20-foot long cord that you'd wrap around your waist as you talked around. Like, blah,
and then
blah,
it just coils up like that?
Yeah. And then, it just spirals up, and then your mom gets pissed. You're like, why is this all fucking spiraled up? Well, because I was spinning around like a hula hoop. That's why. Like, come correct, Mom.
Exactly. Sometimes, you know.
But man, imagine the life, the world today would be if social media existed 20 years
Oh, we'd
ago.
be jacked up. I mean, we're heading towards a jacked up era. I mean, look at our kids for the most part, or people in school. They just kick back on their freaking phone, play video games. We used to go out there, and I'm not just telling war stories, man, out in the heat and play basketball.
Sat on the big old green humming things that you weren't even know what they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or trying to mess with the lights on the diesel.
We've reached what I like to call the Roman apex. So when Rome fell, it was at its peak of society.
Shower? What does that mean? I want to
So
go play, Mom.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do inside stuff. I want to
No,
go outside.
yeah,
but today,
exactly.
it's gimme.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus what's accepted as the norm in society, what's accepted as a whole and okay, what's tolerable, whose desires, fetishes, things like that, all the acceptance in life, changes, wants, whatever people want to do in life. When Rome was at that point, there was a lot of
Killing.
acceptance, killing, just very open living and stuff. And then it had to kind of crash as a society before like civilization as a whole can move forward. So as a society, we do kind of need
I want to know. I want Rick Morrigan to do his history. Who was the first promoter in Rome? You know what I mean? Like there was promoters
That
back
threw on
then
the
and
first gladiator
matchmakers
matches?
that said, that's a bad motherfucker. He reminds me of Achilles.
I don't even think they said
But
that.
then they go, look at that dude. He's freaking killing people with that sword, man. Let's match him up.
I thought
That'd
they
be a
looked at it
dream.
from coin.
No,
Like,
there
how do we make
was
money?
probably a dream match that was never happened. You know what I mean?
Oh God,
oh,
like
I want him against
Maximus
him.
versus Burticus or something like
Yeah.
the two best gladiators and something that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Tossing swords, tossing sharp sticks, tossing a fucking lion.
Yeah,
Why not?
and then said, I'm not going to let you watch it for free. See, that's where Rick was back then. And like his grandfather or his ancestor was saying, no, I'm not going to let you watch this shit for free. We got to fill this shit up.
Right, but I think the Roman Colosseum.
And there was a
free.
Meridian back in the days.
I'm
I think
sure
it was like
there was.
at first it was like a half dinosaur, half man, and then it lost its hair, but it got strength by being bald, and it just boom, just tore up the whole freaking atmosphere as far as matchmaking and promoting, man.
Right. Well, sometimes, like I said, some people find their niche in life.
I know
Like,
they
you
do,
get
because if you go to
baseball
those walls,
players-
you know where they draw like skeletons and stuff, you'll see like a half man, half monster, and it'll kind of look like Rick from the side. So his ancestors were promoting shit back in the day too. That's why he's such a badass. He is.
Khetphet.
Oh no, he does. I mean, he's good at what he does, man.
Yeah, like
he
I said,
freaking is,
People
dude.
find their niche. That's
is.
you find it's like people.
He
will
loves the
find
challenge.
work- Yeah.
He does.
Well, yeah, that's what part of the job is. I think that's the desire. Is he likes just challenges
You know
in
what?
general.
Honestly, I like the challenge of tonight's guest. And last night we had an 11-year-old from Stockton, California, amateur boxer, and I'm thinking, how are we going to make this work, man? I mean, because an 11-year-old, our attention span is only so much. But it was fun.
Well, you talk about what he's interested in.
Exactly.
Punching people.
And then Pops thought he was just going to sit on the couch. I go, no. Boom. Sat him down right here, so it balanced it out. We had some fun, man. This kid's smart, man. Izzy Bones Ramos, Stockton, California.
How many fights?
I don't know his record, but I've looked at his footage, and he's on his way, man. Got the footwork, got the whole team, the family support, and got the hands, the tenacity, and he has the tools to work with. Again, he's 11, so one step at a time.
Yeah. What else did he want to be? Like, what did he want to do?
Just
for
a
living?
boxer. I mean, he played. He gets good grades. He's played soccer, a little bit of baseball. He thinks the world of his little brother. His mom puts him in a place where he needs to be as far as the platform, get him exposure, and he's enjoying life. He is, and he did me a big favor yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he did.
Nice. Hook you up?
Well, I mean, we were talking about management. We were talking about different things right there. So he gave a message to Rick for me.
Oh.
Oh, he did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rick's going to be like, why do I have this 11-year-old texting me?
Yeah.
Why is he texting me?
Hey,
this?
man, I'm going to keep messing with him until we sit down and we work together.
Yeah.
He's going to go, man, this motherfucker won't go away, dude. He's like Jason. He's like Halloween. He
Squeaky
just
wheel
don't
in
get
life,
it.
man. You got to be a squeaky wheel in
You
life.
got to, man.
And the problem is you have to be the squeaky wheel, and then once you get the oil, you still have to produce.
Oh, you
That's
do,
the thing
at the
too.
end of the day.
So many
Exactly.
people make noise, and then they get a gig with a station or whatever, and it's just let's take this industry for example, and then they just don't do anything with it after.
Yeah.
You make an inferior product, you just don't have any follow through with your content or whatever it is. You lose fan base. It's just there's no follow through. It's like I want, and then you're giving it, and then it's like, oh well,
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
True. Well, I said the other day, I said just you remember what you wanted when you didn't have it. Look at it where you're at now, kind of
Exactly.
thing. It's like,
Yeah.
remember when you wanted what you have. Right
Yeah.
now, what you have, remember a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 years ago, what you wanted, what you had then versus what you have now, and how bad you wanted what you have now. And a lot of people lose sight in that in life. They forget, oh, I've got the house. I own my car.
Yeah.
I actually have that 35, 40K a year job. I'm living well. Man, both my kids are going to college. Like, you forget little things in life that people are like, oh, I wish I could do that. And then fast forward a couple years and they have it, but they don't appreciate it because they don't remember the work it took to get it, or they just stumbled upon it. So they don't appreciate it, and they never look back and go, well, man, 3 years ago.
You know, everybody has a story to tell, but why don't people start telling the truth? And we'll be okay. The real story.
Like when people talk about you, it's like, I'm the asshole in someone's story, but did they tell you the other 4 pages about the time they needed this, the time they needed that, you know, the time they needed a couch to sleep on, or they needed money for their car,
or the opportunity that they had and you had greasy hands and it slipped out of your hands, or you didn't answer your opportunity, or you didn't. It can go both ways. It goes a lot of ways, and yeah, man, it's kind of disappointing. Because I love people, I love giving people the opportunity, and likewise, I'd like to think the same. That one day someone will say, "Hey, Rich, here we are. Let's go for it." And yeah, at the end of the day, you just got to keep pushing, man.
Yeah. Well,
but I do get caught up sometimes because I'm inside looking out, and it's not that I don't appreciate. It's just I want to keep trying to get that. You know, keep moving forward.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. Like, it's hard to appreciate what you've had versus what you didn't have when you're still driving for more.
I bet you didn't know this. I knew KP like maybe 4 years before we even worked together. Something like 4 or 3, a long time, huh?
Throwing his body in front of cars still. I saw that. I saw that the other day. You getting fucked up by that Mazda RX-7 or whatever that was, dude.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he did.
Dude, I was scrolling through my feed and I just see this picture of KP just getting fucking just dented by this car. And I was like, what? And I read it and it was like a throwback. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, dude, that's right. That's why I tagged my friend Trig in that. And I was like, because he's a stunt man, like high level stunt man. And I was like, dude, check this guy out. Getting hit by cars for a living. Like, just how do you... People ask me how I got punched for a living. I'm like, dude, no, you got to get the other guys I know, like KP, like, you let a car hit you. Oh, yeah. How many, more than once? Oh, that day? Yeah, you know, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I gotta teach you the kids that they think I'm cool. We gotta introduce you to the kids at school, man.
Yeah, I should show them how to fall and how to land.
Be like, hey, next time you're running from the cops and you want to run across traffic.
Yeah.
Here's how to take a hit from a car in case you really gotta go.
After he does, little Johnny shows up to school with a broken leg. Yeah, oh, that guy KP showed me. It's cool.
Right?
Let him hit you. Dad, go faster. Yeah.
Oh, they'd be out there trying to jump over shit. Be like, no, your car's too hot. We gotta lower it. Get some cinders off that thing.
There's people making money on YouTube for doing that.
Making
I don't
like
know about all that stuff though.
A couple million
they don't
a year
show
opening
you
toys.
Is all the guys getting their shit broken up.
Yeah. That's the part they don't show you. Like the pages in the book. Nobody tells you when I helped them. I'm just the asshole in that story.
Exactly.
It's in context to like a battle. Whenever someone talks ill about you to other people, it's like having a small war with someone. The victors are going to write the history books. The problem is when you have conflict with someone, they're only going to tell the side of the story that makes them look good to get the narrative they want or the reaction they want from the person telling the story to, because they're directing the narrative. Well, of course you're going to fucking make me look like the asshole. You're the one telling them the story. You're not going to tell them how you were a crackhead or how you were stealing from your friends or how, nobody wanted to help you because you were stealing from your fucking friends that tried to help you. All those things. So,
yeah, exactly. Or you sat on your ass and didn't make good of your opportunity.
Yeah.
Or just... I don't know, man. I mean, I see a lot of people wanting a lot of things, man, and it motivates me to be almost like when you're around a person and says, you motivate me because I don't want, like, I'll say my dad. He motivated me to not be like him. And, that's only probably the only third time in my lifetime that I use that term. I've never called anybody dad in my whole life. And anyways, so like when Richie was born, after 3 months, in one day I was jumping up and down. Honestly, I told the story before. I was celebrating because my sperm donator, he only stood around there for 3 months and then he bounced. So
hit that anniversary mark. And you were like, hey,
exactly,
doing better than you.
Exactly, man, exactly. And I'm glad it worked out that way, honestly, because it made me appreciate and love what was given to me and the blessing that was in front of me, as opposed to this dude just jumping ship.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking about that.
I'll sit down and I'll look at that math sometimes too. I'll be like, okay, so I'm 30 coming up on 39. He went when he was, so you look at that math and go, well, I've been doing it longer.
Yeah, and
you
better.
Know what I mean? Yeah, so in my particular case, I couldn't necessarily say better, but different in that particular scenario.
You adjusted.
Yeah, I've had to adjust on my own. But yeah, I could see that anniversary hitting and then going and being like, now it's just Now it's just added days at this point.
It did.
It's
It
all
did.
freebies.
And my point is not to get off it, but when I see people make mistakes or I'm thinking, why did you do that? I look at it and say, I'll learn from other people's mistakes, and I'm sure they probably learn, hopefully, from my mistakes, because I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to hit that mark, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wish people could know what I'm thinking so they know ahead of time it's not my intentions, or I don't plan on burning anybody. I will be arguing like crazy. I've shared it with some close personal people like crazy and says, no, it don't happen this way. It happens this way. Because these right here is what helped me get here.
Yeah.
So let's make this happen.
Yeah, it's a
The negotiation would even take place without people even knowing that I went to bat for him and took some pitches right on that freaking, right on the grill.
Yeah,
And
growth requires pain sometimes.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But what I do want to talk about is 2020, Fresno, California. Combate Americas is coming back to Save Mart Center.
Or February?
Yeah, February. Yeah, they're already coming back. And I hope Zoila Frosto's on that card. I mean, because she seems to pack the house, put on a good show. But you know what? Her little sister, or I'll say her younger sister, is making a great name for herself.
Steph,
Yes, and you know what? I look at her and she's very balanced.
Well, Steph's in a really good opportunity. She's got the same potential for ability. Like, I don't even think she's reached I don't think she's peaked yet as far as how good she can be. I think she's got at least a couple more years before she'll actually be to the point to where she's like, this is the best you're ever going to see me. And it's just crushing skulls because everyone has to grow into their bodies and grow into their abilities and grow into their peakness and things like that. But she's also in that position to where she's young and she's got Zoila, who's been doing it for so long. It's like, here's the game plan. Here's what I wish. Because guys like me, De Jesus, Zoila, all these guys from back in the day, we wish there was what exists today as far as self-branding channels to self-brand. Dude,
I was just talking to another person.
We would have been
about
making so much money, stupid money. So, I mean, just look at the money Zoila's making by partnering with Cricket and Combate and the type of branding ability there is. That didn't exist.
And that was a badass commercial they put her in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, right? But that kind of stuff didn't exist 10 years ago. You had to be like in the UFC.
But let's bring it back, Cole, and let's talk about the show. She was sitting here less than a year ago and said, I have no sponsors. I don't know anybody that'll sponsor me. Anybody. This show is blessed, man. I'm telling you, man. There's something about, I know what it is, this show, man. She may have lost that day in the ring, but she blew up and won in life and in opportunity, man.
Yeah, she put herself in the position.
Yeah, she did.
Her ability as a fighter put her in that position to maximize the potential of being. It's not about maximizing
and how she handled it. She didn't blame anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about character.
Exactly.
And Combate sees that, and that's even when because you're going to lose fights. You can't win every single fight. It just doesn't. I mean, you're not fucking Khabib. Everyone's not Khabib, right? And he's going to lose eventually too. Every great champion has tasted what it's like to lose. That's the only way you'll ever be a champion.
They risk their greatness.
Exactly. You've tasted what it's like to lose, and some get better because they're like, I never want to taste that fucking dinner again. And they will go on to get as far as they can to be the top again because they're like, I never want to taste that again. So it's the same thing as always. You're just driving, you're pushing yourself to get to that top point again. And so you can't win all of them, but they saw the character and they saw the potential. They saw the long term. They saw the long game picture and said, dude, this is somebody we can support because she's going to do good things in and out of the ring. And when she's doing those good things out of the ring, she's going to be carrying our brand while doing it.
I'm glad you brought up brand. This brand is expanding tomorrow for 2020. Going to make the Fighter's Voice official debut in Stockton, California. The guest, guess who the guest is, KP? Kilo Madera and Hector Madera, both the Madera brothers from Stockton, California. So basically, if you got to get something off your chest, get it off. We're going to keep it real. We've talked since then, and I'm looking for an exciting show. And what I'm looking at is the brand expanding down to Stockton. Stockton's hungry for wanting this, for this platform, and we're the brand, and we're the team to give it to them, because it's all about expanding. Because we can sit here and say, okay, Fresno, not afraid to take risks, because we talked about those risks about becoming great and wanting that opportunity, man. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Going down to Stockton, California. Hector Madera, Kilo Madera, going to make it happen. Shally, my man there, he does what KP does, just a little different. And man, I can't wait. They met each other just one time. I can't wait till KP and Shelly Hollis work together.
Yeah.
I mean, iron sharpens iron, man.
There's a boxing card getting ready to come out there.
Well, there's going to be one in March. There's going to be one in March. Now, see, here's the thing, and I'll dump it on you right now. I'm going to be Toscana Promotions. I'll be sending you the contract. We talked about that. I'll be re-announcing.
Oh, cool.
Okay, but here's the thing. Somebody in Stockton got to get those interviews. ESCOVEDO, my man. He's going to make your boxing debut as far as interviewing combatants there, man. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool because you want to challenge yourself. You know, like when I interviewed that little kid, and we went outside of our round, but we made it happen. We put a spin on it, and it's all about challenging ourselves and becoming great to ourselves as far as the knowledge that we're gathering. We're not just one-dimensional. I mean, what do they say? Okay, I got a game for you, but it's not going to be this. It's going to be that. You're going to take whatever you can to grow as an artist and as a performer and as an entertainer and be able to get back.
And interviewing boxers is no different than interviewing. I mean, it's different, but it's no different than interviewing an MMA fighter after their fight.
You know what? The kid asked me too, because he's looking at some old footage, and I know we're going to wrap it up right now. He said, "So you have somebody working for you too?" Or so? I said, "No, we have a team." And I explained to him who you are, and I told him to Google you. And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, with the exception of the Tito Ortiz, because I wanted that shit. the interviews, I said, why would I go back there when this guy has the freaking expertise, man, and let him grow and just smash that. So, and I told him, it's about having a good team. There's no ego around here. It's about building the brand. Get the camera off me, put it on the brand.
Yeah, because the brand is what you want to expand. The brand is what you're trying to build. It's not, I'm not trying to build my image, or I'm not trying to build this image. It's we're trying to build the brand's image.
Exactly.
That's what you're growing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No. When do they going to let you do the announcing?
It's March 21st. So I'll go up there that Friday to do the weigh-in. But March 21st, man, we got to try to work something out. I got to get you down there, UKP, smash that, and get all those post-fight interviews with all the winners. Because I'll be stuck in the ring announcing, and then they got to go backstage and get those post-fight, build our brand, continue to build our brand.
Yeah. An event kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Toscana Promotions, they're growing. They've been doing some stuff in Mexico. They've been doing some stuff all around California. And they're not here just to say, okay, we did one event and that's it. They are growing now as a promotion team. They're now signing fighters. They're now endorsing themselves. I mean, it's beyond just the 209.
They're trying to build a brand that they can say, okay, well, we do events here.
A promotion brand.
We're going to do an event at Save Mart Center.
Exactly. And they're signing fighters.
Exactly.
You know, like Combate, almost like a tour, but with your fighters.
Yeah, with boxing. Yeah.
And
you want to carry your fighters, your main ones, to different events to draw in stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, be that AAA team, because then, you know, when the big leagues, like the Golden Boys, the top ranks, and the PBCs, when they get signed, you know, these fighters got to start somewhere, and they're giving them a platform and exposure.
Cool. So local guys in an event, that'd be good.
Yeah. So being that said, hey, you got to work on Shirt Dog. Got to get him back on the show, man.
Okay, I'll hit him up. Fine. I mean, realistically, it's just a matter of when we want to fill a slot in, and then say
get him. We'll accommodate.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll shoot him a message
on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, we'll accommodate. We'll make that happen, man. Because I know he's been wanting to drop some news, and he's still active, and he can let us know what he's been hearing.
Cool. I'll shoot him a message tonight. Say, hey, when's your next Wednesday open that you can come in the studio and have some fun with us?
Sounds good, man. Cool. Anything else you want to add?
Nothing but quick picks, man, for your I've already told people Cerrone over Conor on that one. I've got Ferrier over, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, over Pettis, just based on his last couple win records. And then I've got Holm over
Really?
Pennington.
Over Pettis?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
The last string, a couple fights they've had, Pettis is like, I think 2-2 or 2-1 in his last like 3 or 4. Ferrier's got like a 4 or 5 like win streak right now. I got Modafari, Roxanne. She's going to be doing really good on the main card. She's fighting Barber, which was, I think, was a fight that they were trying to get Barber to fight Paige. They were trying to get her fight Paige, and they were trying to set that up.
Oh, okay.
And I think Barber didn't want to do it, or just the fight didn't make sense to somebody. But I think she's going to be fighting Modafari. Modafari has been around, man. Like, she's been fighting in Japan. She's been fighting all over. She up and wins, losses, goes like this, roller coaster, but it's over a longevity of time. I think that's going to be a good fight as well. And then you've got Holm over Pennington on that one. So those are just some quick picks. There's 2 more fights on that main card. I haven't really touched them yet. I haven't really followed those guys too much, so I got to do a little more research before kind of shooting out any consensus on that one. But those are the quick picks. I know Holm has been back and forth. She just had a loss too, but I think it's a good opportunity and a good opponent to get her moving forward as well. So
no, she's good at when she uses her distance and her reach and stands tall. Yeah,
exactly. When she gets that kickboxing as her main aggressiveness for that fight,
Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank our guest, Andrew Janz, who's running for mayor here in Fresno, California. He's ready to make change. He wants change in Fresno. Embrace the change if he's awarded the mayor. And I know we'll probably have him back on the show before we go to voting March, as well as Mr. Jerry Dyer. And I'd like to have him on both at one time, but.
Maybe set up a pre-question to date. Like
we can, and you know what? Maybe get some questions from the fans. That's what we want to cross that again. I want to because it was pretty fun.
Yeah, at some point, just say, hey, we just wanted to get to know you. Had you guys on the first? Now we wanted to spend a little time, like lightning round. Like you got 20 minutes each. We're just going to field some, or 30 minutes. We're going to field some questions. The question will be for like both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep it simple. Just like this is just a couple of questions. We just want to get your answers to them. It's going to have a little more specifics about how you, as a mayor, would address these topics, because it's an opportunity for you to directly tell them what you would handle specific topics that come up in certain incidences that come up. How would you address
Makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a lot of sense,
right?
Exactly. Hey, and ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, making our Stockton debut, 2020, Stockton, California, the guest will be Kilo Madera and his brother Hector Madera, two professional boxers out of the 209. Shelly Hollis, I'll see you in the studio, man. As always, Fresno, California, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
But until next week, remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.